Good afternoon, members. It is the appointed time and we have a quorum. I call to order today's meeting. Item 1, information paper issued since last meeting. No papers were issued. Item 2, schedule of meetings for the remainder of the 2025 session. Now for the outstanding meetings for the session, the meetings will be held at 4:30 p.m. on the second Monday each month. Now please refer to the proposed dates of meeting as tabled. If there are no objections, the timetable is fixed. Item 3, items for discussion at the next meeting. Please refer to CB bracket 3, 456, 2025 bracket 01, list of outstanding items for discussion. The administration has proposed 2 items. 1. Proposed amendments to the Chinese Permanent Cemeteries Rule, Cap 1112A, and 2. Proposed retention of a supernumerary directorate post in the Sports and Recreation branch of the Culture, Sports and Tourism Bureau. If there are no questions, the agenda is decided. Item 4. Preparatory work for the Hong Kong Intangible Cultural Heritage Month. Would the staff please invite the administration to come in? There are 2 papers, CB brackets 3, 456, 2025, number 1, number 3, and number 5. In attendance of this item, we have Mr. Raislin Lau, Undersecretary for CST, Ms. Yandy Chan, PAS for CST, and Ms. Mandy Chan, Director of LCSD, and Ms. Ng Chi Wo, Assistant Director of the LCSD. Welcome. Now we will first invite Mr. Raislin Lau to walk us through the paper. Thank you, Chairman. Intangible cultural heritage, or ICH, is an essential part of the fine traditional Chinese culture. It is a lively witness to the continuous transmission of Chinese culture. To further strengthen the protection of ICH and promote the culture of Chinese traditional art, now we have designated each June as the month of ICH to broaden understanding of ICH. Now the government has been committed to safeguarding, transmitting and promoting the ICH of Hong Kong to support the national policy on furthering the safeguarding of ICH. We have enhanced the safeguarding of ICH and strengthened the aspects of work like documentation, research and promotion and transmission of ICH. Now the ICH June, or Hong Kong ICH Month, is a response to the Cultural and Natural Heritage Day designated by the country. That is the second Saturday of June each year. So we are going to hold Hong Kong ICH Month for the first time to nurture an atmosphere of ICH around town. We will promote local ICH to local visitors and foreign visitors and promote the rich Chinese culture and highlights the transmission and inheritance of Chinese and Hong Kong ICH to strengthen national identity and cultural confidence and promote collaboration between culture and tourism. Now, in terms of documentation, identification, research, preservation, promotion, and transmission, we have been doing a good job in promoting the awareness to safeguarding ICH among the public. Last December, we have updated the representative list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Hong Kong and the Intangible Cultural Heritage Inventory of Hong Kong. The items range from 20 to 24. Now in March this year, two Hong Kong citizens have been selected as the ambassador of ICH for the country. It is very encouraging. The organizations will participate in the ICH month to promote the inheritance and transmission of ICH. We also promote the in-depth collaboration between sports, tourism, and culture. ICH is an important cultural asset. Now, last March, under the Airmark system, we have sponsored the Live Golf Hong Kong Stopped organization. Now, at the Tai Chi Temple, we have organized a basin food festival for the golfers. There was also a performance of traditional Chinese art. Now, we also promote ICH through innovation. Now, we support and sponsor local innovators and artists to launch products with ICH as a theme. Now, sponsored items include the Palace Museum crossover, ICH in Guangzhou. Now, community participation is important in promoting an inheritance. Now, this month, the LCSD will collaborate with art and cultural groups to organize a wide range of activities to nurture a positive atmosphere for the promotion of ICH. Now, I'm going to defer to my team to walk members through the events in the ICH month, and we welcome members' views. Mr. Chen, Mr. Ng, thank you. This is our plan for ICH month. Now, in 2021, the Ministry of Culture and Tourism promulgated the 14th Five-Year Plan for Preservation of Intangible Cultural Heritage. It will enhance ICH as the core of our culture. And also, the LCSD announced the organizing of Hong Kong ICH Month in June. Every June, the country designates the second Saturday of June as the Cultural and Natural Heritage Day. So that's why we're going to hold our first ICH month in June this year. Now, we want to make it an ICH brand. The theme is ICH around town. This will help us promote the preservation and promotion of ICH and also enhance awareness. Through a wide range of activities, we will help visitors and local people to find an interest in ICH attractions. There are going to be 80 shows featuring 50 organizations. There are going to be more than 100 activities. The target attendance is 100,000. Now, for the opening ceremony, it will be held on the 1st of June in Tsim Sha Tsui. There will be a number of famous ICH items, like the Changzhou Flying Banner Festival, or Floating Colors performance. These are already important ICH items in Hong Kong. There will also be activity booths and workshops to heighten interest. Now, the theme is ICH around town. So we will highlight ICH scattering in town. We have selected 6 districts. We want to attract tourists and local visitors to these 6 districts. to visit the ICH locations. We will launch a series of videos featuring various ICH and also publish a pamphlet to encourage visitors to reach deep into the community and experience the items. For example, in Yaoqing district, there is a herbal tea and traditional tea restaurants and traditional craftsmanship. And there is also the Tianhao Temple, which has been classified as a monument. There are also traditional craftsmanship and also the making of local milk tea. Now, besides urban areas, there are also ICHs on outlying islands. Now, at Tai O, with the Dragon Boat Festival coming in June, we will arrange for dozens tour in Tai O. There are also traditional delicacies and also religious celebrations and also shrimp-based markets visiting. Besides the 6 districts, in this month there are going to be large-scale carnivals, including an activity called Genesis and Spirits Intangible Cultural Heritage Exhibition, which will be held at the Intangible Center. There will be a fashion show and also Nanyin or Southern Tune with a modern touch. It will combine innovation and tradition. Now, as these Sha-Tins in shopping mall in Sha-Tin, we are going to collaborate with Jiangxi's ICH performers and artists to host an activity. Now, at the end of this month at Old Street, we will showcase the food culture. The theme is tradition and innovation. Now, this carnival held at Oi in North Point will feature ICH making techniques related to food culture. Now, we're going to collaborate with various provinces in the mainland. Now, on the 1st of July this year, we are going to hold the Genesis and Spirits Intangible Cultural Heritage Exhibition on Jiangxi's Guangzhou Hakka culture in the Central Library. We will showcase the Hakka culture of this city and also that in Guangzhou. Also, we will invite the artists to visit schools and other workshops to share their experience with the local people. Now we will have an event with the ICH June. Then we will work with the academics in the GBA to try to interpret ICH from various perspectives. There is also a discussion workshop with the public. We also have the ICH Delicacies, Transmission and Innovation scheme for promotion of restaurants with ICH-related food. We will invite restaurants across Hong Kong to participate in the ICH June. Now, besides these community activities, we are going to promote the ICH June with several larger stakeholders, for example, the Wang Dai Xin Temple. They are also invited to participate. and also the Tonghua Group of Hospital. There is going to be a visit to the funeral parlor run by the Tonghua Group of Hospitals. So together with the community, we are going to promote the ICH June. We will also make use of our own venue, for example, museums, and also reading activities in libraries. So these are major events in June. In terms of publicity, we will work with the Education Bureau and the other government departments to promote the ICH June. Thank you.
Now I'll open the floor for questions. 7 members have pressed the request to speak button. I'll read out their names. They are Mr. Brave Chen, Ms. Chen Yutming, Mr. Rock Chen, Ms. Rebecca Chen, Mr. Andrew Lam, Mr. Ma Fong Kwok, and Mr. Kenneth Fok. I'll give 4 minutes to each member, questions and answers inclusive. Mr. Brave Chen. Thank you, Chairman. I support the project because they represent the essence of the Chinese culture. There are many different types of events and activities. We have to tell people what are the most attractive events. For example, there's the Dragon Boat Festival, as well as the event held in the Wang Tai Sin Temple. I want to know which ones are the most attractive or the most eye-catching. Then you should focus on promoting them. People might have difficulties in selecting which ones they should attend, so you should recommend the highlights to people. Also, there are many events covering carnivals, for example. We've been wanting to apply to the UN to have our food culture as part of our ICH. We haven't been able to do it yet, but we do want people to know that Hong Kong is the food paradise. There are many very attractive and appealing events and activities. I want to know which ones target the primary, secondary school students as well as kindergarteners. Many schools have exams from the 17th to the 30th of June. For those targeting school students, can you perhaps adjust the dates of the events? It will be easier for students to attend the events if they are held after their exams. So these are things that you should consider. Under Secretary, I thank Mr. Brave Chen for the valuable suggestions. We'll take them into account. We will promote certain highlighted events and activities, and we do want members' views on which ones you find the most appealing. I believe if they are appealing to members, they would appeal to members of the public as well. On promoting ourselves as the food paradise, while we're working on it, I hope that we will get the certification and accreditation from the UN. Now, on the exam period of schools, the entire ICH month event will cover June. Perhaps students may not be able to attend all the events. I hope schools can work around the exam schedules and encourage students to participate in the events and activities. As mentioned, we will go to schools to launch some of our events, and we will try to work around the exam schedule. Ms. Chen Yutming, the Vice Chairman. I speak in support of the Hong Kong Intangible Cultural Heritage Month. I hope there are more ICH events in Hong Kong. I have several questions. First, one of the events to be held is about Hakka culture, and it will be organized together with the Jiangxi Provincial Department of Culture and Tourism. We have a very long village history. I'm also from the Hakka culture. Meizhou in Guangdong is also a famous Hakka city, and Hakka culture is very important along East River. Can you tell us why you are co-organizing the Hakka cultural event with Jiangxi but not with Guangdong? Also, I understand that community organizations have been invited to take part in the ICH events. Pusik, for example, is a traditional event in Chengchao. Many ICH events are from the new territories. I hope the ICH office can invite Herdi Cook, the rural committees, as well as the district councils to co-organize some events. If more community organizations from the district could participate, it would help expand the scale of the events and activities. It would also help local residents as well as visitors or tourists to join the events. I'll invite Director to address the questions. Director, please. I thank Vice Chairman for the suggestions. We work with different mainland authorities. I believe the event that you mentioned is the Genesis and Spirit event. In fact, this is not the first time we launched Genesis and Spirit. We've launched this event for several years already. I thank the member for the suggestions. We will work with different mainland authorities and organizations to promote Hakka culture in Hong Kong. As for individual events, as mentioned, we had the view that we can co-organize certain events with the rural committee as well as the district councils. This is the first time we hold the ICH month. We can further expand the event in the future. Any follow-up questions? No, thanks. Mr. Rock Chen, I speak in support of the Hong Kong ICH month event. It is a great event. I have the following suggestions and questions. According to the paper, it is expected that 100,000 people will take part in the event. How many of them will be from Hong Kong? How many of them will be from overseas or the mainland? If there will be overseas visitors taking part in the events, what kind of publicity campaigns will the administration hold to attract visitors? Also, as mentioned by the administration, the SAR government is working with community organizations as well as mainland authorities such as the Jiangxi authorities to hold the events. Will you consider co-organizing some of the events with the clansmen associations in Hong Kong? For example, we have the Shanxi clansmen associations in Hong Kong. They can perhaps call upon the members to take part in the events and help promote the events. My third question is that 6 districts are selected for the event. However, some districts have been excluded. Under what criteria did you select these districts? It doesn't matter that other districts are not included this time, but will you consider including those districts in the future when you hold the same event? Director, we expect 100,000 participants from Hong Kong as well as from overseas. As to how many overseas visitors will there be, it will depend on how we manage to attract overseas visitors, including the mainland visitors. We are working with the Hong Kong Tourism Board on promoting the Hong Kong ICH month. Closer to June, there will be more publicity campaigns. We have the ICH around town as the theme, and so we do want to attract overseas visitors to take part in the events. Members suggested that we can work with the clansmen associations in Hong Kong, and we agree. We have over 500 ICH items of Hong Kong, and for performing arts we have 310, and for traditional craftsmanship there are about 134 I believe different clansmen associations hold information about all these ICH items, so there is room for the government to work with these clansmen associations. As to how we selected the 6 districts, we selected Tsim Sha Tsui, Tsuen Wan, Tai Po, Sha Tin, Eastern District, as well as the outlying islands. We are going to hold fun days as well as carnivals to attract overseas visitors. Mr. Chen said that there will be more eye-catching events. We in Sha Tin and Tai Po, as well as in the outlying islands, we're going to hold, for example, the dragon boat events to hopefully attract more overseas tourists and visitors. Ms. Rebecca Chen. I see that the administration has been proactively promoting the ICH items of Hong Kong. This June, the ICH office is rolling out the inaugural Hong Kong ICH month. The theme is ICH around town. Through carnivals, fun days, as well as ICH delicacies, members of the public will have the opportunity to have a feel of the charm of our ICH items, so I support this event. You were telling us about your preparation work for the Hong Kong ICH month, and I would like to focus on your publicity work. You pick June so that it ties in with the Cultural and Natural Heritage Day, but in fact, on the 31st of May, we have the Dragon Boat Festival in Hong Kong. And your first event will be the International Dragon Boat Race. This may not be very appealing to the public. In Foshan, my hometown, there are dragon boat races, including dragon boat drifting. Many people join this dragon boat drifting event in Foshan, in Fujian. There are also night dragon boat races. If we turn the International Dragon Boat Race into something more special, for example, we turn them into the events that I just mentioned, then people won't have to go to Foshan or Fujian for those special events. So I think we should not just invite people to attend an ordinary international dragon boat race. We should think of ways to attract people to attend the events. Also, after the Hong Kong ICH month, how can we further promote our ICH items? In Foshan, there is a craftsmanship event which goes into their schools. Can there be a continuous promotion of our ICH items after the Hong Kong ICH month? We have national, provincial, as well as municipal ICH items.
Chairman, thank you. On publicity, we will make a great effort in promoting the ICH June. That's why we want to hear ideas from members today. There are interesting activities and culture that we don't know. So we welcome suggestions from members. In terms of follow-up works, we will focus our efforts in June to raise the awareness of ICH, but we will continue to deliver on our task to transmit and inherit the ICH, as well as reaching deep into schools. Ms. Mada Chen. Thank you. As the Undersecretary said, designating June as the ICH month is to align with the Natural Heritage Day. Now for dragon boat racing, which is going to be held at the end of May, they are also parts of ICH June. So for these popular activities which take place in May, they will also be promoted to visitors. Now what will happen after June? We want to make local people and visitors become aware of the ICH around them by way of this ICH June. There are going to be a lot of subsidy scheme and also sponsored exhibition in schools and in the community, and also publicity outside Hong Kong. So our work is not limited to the preparation of the ICH June. We want to tell the public that ICH is part of our culture and in our daily life, rather than just exhibits and artifacts in museums. Thank you. Mr. Andrew Lam. Thank you, Chairman. This is a good starting point. The ICH June. The targeted attendance number is 100,000. I think you will have no problem achieving that target. But if you divide it by 6 districts and the duration of a month, then maybe there are only very weak attendance for individual activities. So I hope you would aim much higher than that. We need to have an exponentially larger attendance figure. If the attendance of individual activity is too little, then it would make it less fun. Also, we need to create a platform for exchanges between the artists. Now, there are not many people who have inherited ICH in Hong Kong. And also the bearers' structure is different from that in the mainland. In the mainland, the ICH bearers, have a very distinct structure. So will the government review the system and make your efforts more effective. Mr. Ng, thank you. Now, as mentioned in the policy address, we are going to review the ICH bearers system. We are now conducting preliminary research on the accreditation and examination regime of ICH bearers in Guangzhou. We will formulate a framework soon. There will be some progress within the year. In terms of the attendance figure, we believe that we are going to attract a large footfall to our activities, and we will adjust the target as it progresses. Mr. Kenneth Fogg. Thank you, Chairman. I thank the administration for their detailed briefing. Now, I'm very excited when I was listening to the presentation, but I think there is room for improvement. But there seems to be a lot of things going on in June, So in terms of preparatory work, I'm not going to go into details of that. Now we have 62 items on the representative list and 507 items on the ICH inventory. That is great, but can we have more policies to support the development of the ICH industry? Now it seems that the ICH June is comprised of various activities, just like the other activities of the LCSD. Now, in terms of talent nurturing, we need to achieve a breakthrough in terms of the ICH bearers structure. We need to be clear on the eligibility and the qualifications. Now, our role is to connect the country with the world. Can we work more closely with the country to nurture the ICH bearers and help them go global and tell good stories of the country and Hong Kong? Second, there are traditional craftsmanships and traditional customs, but it doesn't mean that we can't be innovative when it comes to ICH. I organized an ICH seminar last year and invited Dr. Qi Ji, who is a member of the National Institute. Now he integrated innovative technologies like 3D printing with traditional craftsmanships. It really industrialized the product. They are very attractive. He has a very robust exhibition and sales platform for these products as well. So we need to offer policy support for growing the industry rather than just stopping at the ICH June. The government needs to encourage collaboration between the design industry and the innovation sector. Undersecretary. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Fok. Yes, ICH June is the starting point, but we hope that every year there will be something more. Mr. Fok is right. The ICH June is focused on individual activities, and we are doing a lot of preparatory work. At the same time, we are improving the inheritance system, and also various researches are being conducted. There is a seminar in June to bring scholars from Hong Kong and the GBA together, and also there is an unconference for young people and the public to discuss anything about ICH. Now, the culture, the CCIOA will coordinate any crossover activities between different sectors. Now, for the Palace Museum themed ICH events I mentioned, designers will draw inspiration from the artifacts in the Palace Museum, and ICH bearers will help them display the idea in the form of traditional art. For example, Chang Sham. In the design, you can see design elements from the palace, and they are really masterpieces. So we will continue to develop more products featuring ICH concepts. Next, Mr. Michael Look. Thank you, Chairman. Now, the work of the ICH office, the paper only mentioned the ICH June, but I think the ICH office can do much more than that in terms of considering applications for ICH destination. It is also a major task of the ICH office. Now we have some 400 ICH items on the list, but we can always find more. According to some applicants, the waiting time is long. It takes sometimes more than a year's time for the ICH office to consider the application. I've also received suggestions that the ICH office should offer support and subsidies for the applicants. Now, this is the year of the snake. I think many people like snake cuisine. My union organizes these cuisines every year. This is a gem in the Guangdong culture, and the FTU has been using snake cuisines or snake buffets as a unifying element among laborers. Now, actually, snakes are very healthy for the human body, but there are not many places where you can eat snake. Now, some restaurants would like to apply for the snake cuisine to become an ICH item, but this is very difficult. You need to find the documentary proof, and you have to get the support of experts. So, since we have the ICH delicacies in the coming June, can the ICH office offers support for organizations and applicants to apply for the destination? Ms. Mandachan, thank you. Now about the ICH subsidy scheme, there are two parts. One is partnership and the other is community-led programs. So by way of figures, in 2023, we have supported some 30 programs with a total funding amount of $30 million. This year, we have received more than 170 applications, which are still being processed. Now, our office in the ICH, the colleagues in the ICH office would consider the contents of the activity, and there is a third party comprising experts to decide the merits of the applications and the funding amount. So we focus on the quality of the programs and also their effectiveness. So we will take the members' view and speed up the processing process. Now about snake cuisine, so far this is not an item on the list. But we do encourage organizations and applicants to try to find opportunities for collaborating snake cuisine with other items on the list. We will be happy to support it. Maybe I didn't ask my question clearly. I was asking whether the ICH office could offer support or technical support to help the applicants put their ICH item on the list. The difficulty does not lie in organizing the activities. Under Secretary, we have a mechanism which receives suggestions for new items from the public. But the applicants need to convince the panel in terms of the background of the item and also the documentary and also proof. When compared with historical building, ICH is more difficult to assess because unlike historic building, ICH is usually passed down the generation verbally. So when an application is received, we will engage an expert to conduct a comprehensive assessment to see whether, first, it is a kind of art which was passed down the generation, and also its impacts on the modern culture. So these factors will be considered by the assessment panel. If we pass the assessment, it will be listed on the representative list and maybe even the inventory. Thank you.
最後就係我自己嘅。
Lastly, it's my turn. I have two questions. I agree that the administration should try to attract local and overseas visitors to take part in the Hong Kong ICH month, but it is not mentioned in the paper how we can turn ICH items of Hong Kong into something recognized by the world, like IP. Say the International Dragon Boat Race, as well as the Taihan Dragon Dance, Fire Dragon Dance. They are very famous. Can we further promote the ICH items which are already on the list to the world to draw more attention globally? For example, can we encourage more creative works based on our ICH items? Can we promote these works, or can we produce products or merchandises based on our ICH items and promote them to the world? Also, under the Belt and Road framework, as well as the GBA development framework, are there any plans from the government on how to join hands with the UNESCO so that there could be cultural exchange programs to enhance the influence of our ICH items in the world? Thank you, Chairman. I'll take the questions, and I'll also ask the LCSD to supplement afterwards. As mentioned in my opening remarks, the CSTB as well as different government departments have been working together to promote our ICH items. The CCIDA would like to develop IPs that are related to our ICH. For example, we're working to see if Cheongsam could initiate or could be used to initiate certain crossover events and activities with our national ICH. I think it takes time for us to promote these items to the world. We hope that more cultural and arts products could be integrated with our ICH items, and we will continue to work hard in this regard. As to whether there are plans for us to work with the UNESCO to promote our ICH elements to the world, well, we are happy to explore initiating different partnership schemes. We'll have to devote resources to this. We hope that we can first, in different occasions, allow people to learn more about our ICH. In different sports events, for example, we will display our ICH elements. We hope that visitors who come to Hong Kong to take part in our cultural arts and sports events, be they tourists or KOLs, they will be able to see our ICH and help promote our ICH to the world. This can facilitate our collaboration with different international partners. Director, We've done a lot of work to promote exchanges with, for example, Beijing and other cities in the mainland. In terms of international promotion, in 2023, during the Hong Kong Week event in Thailand, we promoted the ICH items of Hong Kong. We believe that we should do more by promoting our ICH to the world. There are many ICH items of Hong Kong that are worth our attention. So we will spend more time and energy on promoting our ICH. We will establish an accreditation system for the ICH bearers. And after we've established this mechanism, we will do more to tell good stories of Hong Kong. As mentioned, there are many ICH items of Hong Kong that are worth people's attention and protection. Any other questions from members on this item? If not, I'm going to wrap up this agenda item. I'm going to proceed to the next item. Next agenda item is about the consultation document on the regulatory regime on basketball betting. From the government, we have 3 representatives. They are Ms. Alice Mack, Secretary for Home and Youth Affairs, Mr. Nick Ao Yeung, Deputy Secretary for Home and Youth Affairs, and Mr. Henry Yim, Principal Assistant Secretary, Home Affairs. Before I open the floor for questions, I'd like to first invite Ms. Alice Mack to walk us through the paper. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, members. We're attending this item to brief members on the consultation document on the regulatory regime on basketball betting. The government does not encourage gambling. On the matter of betting, the government adopts a multi-pronged strategy to address gambling-related issues through legislation, law enforcement against illegal gambling activities, public education on the harms of gambling addiction, and provision of counseling and support services to people in need. We want to prevent gambling, especially prevent gambling activities involving youth. The government wants to legalize certain gambling activities because we want to address the needs so that people won't turn to illegal gambling outlets or illegal gambling operators. Many people have been concerned about illegal basketball betting in Hong Kong. To combat the illegal activities, the Financial Secretary announced in the latest budget that the government will explore regulating basketball betting activities and that it will invite the Hong Kong Jockey Club to submit a proposal. We will consider the views of the Jockey Club as well as the Betting and Lotteries Commission. On the 2nd of April this year, the government launched a 1-month public consultation on the proposed regulatory regime. Specifically, we propose establishing a regulatory regime modeled on the existing regime for football betting. We plan to empower the Secretary for Home and Youth Affairs to issue a license to the Jockey Club for basketball betting. We'll also impose licensing conditions to minimize the negative impact of gambling on the public, especially on young people. The relevant details are set out in the annex. The government will consider all the views before we proceed to the next step. If it is decided that we will implement the proposed regulatory regime, the government will work with the Jockey Club, the police, as well as the relevant stakeholders, including the members of Ping War Fund, to implement a regulatory regime. We will also continue to adopt a multi-pronged strategy to address gambling-related issues. The government will also ask the Jockey Club to inject funds to the Ping War Fund to enhance public education as well as counseling and support services. The government will also impose conditions. For example, we'll ask the Jockey Club to attach importance to education for young people. That's all from me. We're happy to take questions from members, and we're also happy to listen to members' views. Now I'll open the floor for questions. Members, if you would like to ask questions, please press the Request to Speak button. We have 7 members who've pressed the Request to Speak button. I'll read out their names. They are Mr. Edward Lau, Dr. Johnny Mr. Benson Look, Ms. Connie Lam, Mr. Kenneth Falk, Mr. Michael Look, and myself. We have a total of 7 members who have requested to speak. I'll give 4 minutes to each member, including questions and answers. Mr. Edward Lau. Thank you, Chairman. I agree that there should be a consultation on the regulatory regime on basketball betting. If there is a lack of consensus, or if we can't combat illegal activities, I think we should establish a regulatory regime. Let's see if we manage to come up with a consensus after the consultation. I also agree that we should model on the existing regime for football betting. Every year we see $70 billion to $90 billion involved in basketball betting. I think we should follow the existing football betting framework. We should impose a 50% betting duty. We should also ask people not to bet on local matches, for example. If the consultation goes smoothly, will the government legislate for basketball betting within this year? Will the licensing issues be settled before October this year? Then people will be able to bet on NBA matches next year. Does the government have any timeline on establishing the regulatory regime? Also, I understand that the government will impose restrictions on betting on local matches. Will certain revenue from betting be set aside for local basketball training or, for example, local leagues? Also, if we aren't able to combat illegal activities, of course, there should be a regulatory regime, but at the same time, we shouldn't encourage betting or gambling. How will the Secretary work with community organizations to discourage people from gambling? Secretary. I thank Mr. Edward Lau for the questions. On the timeline, as you know, we are currently conducting the public consultation. Once we've got the findings from the public consultation, we will compile the views and decide on the next step. If the public supports the proposed regulatory regime, we will establish the regime as soon as possible. We have to work with the LegCo timetable and schedule because we understand that LegCo members have a very busy schedule. We try to enhance speed and efficiency as we take forward the legislative exercise. If the public is of the view that we should establish the regulatory regime, we will, based on the LegCo timetable, complete the legislative exercise as early as possible. On the support for local sports events, I'm sure the Jockey Club is aware of members' views. As we talked to the Jockey Club, we mentioned how we could better support basketball events in Hong Kong. We've talked to the Jockey Club about this, and if we are going to establish the regulatory regime, we will reflect members' views to the Jockey Club.
嗰個清
On preventing betting gaining popularity in society, there are several ways. One is counseling and education. $45 million are allocated through the Pink Wall Fund to sponsor the counseling services of 45 counseling centers. Now, depending on the outcome of the public consultation, if we decide to regulate basketball betting, we will ask the Jockey Club to provide more resources to the Pink Wall Fund so that we can implement more targeted measures to curb betting in society. Dr. Johnny Ng, thank you. Chairman, I support the public consultation. This debate on betting is of high concern in society. The government started out by saying that it does not support betting and gambling. Now we all see the efficacy of regulating betting. However, for example, on football, now after the regulation, 49% of bets placed on illegal websites will go to the Jockey Club. So how can we encourage those betting illegally to turn to legal means? Now, usually the one who get themselves into trouble are those betting on illegal platforms. After the regulatory regime, there will be more revenue for the public coffer. So how much? Now the government will not allow betting on local matches. That is good. Now NBA is definitely the most popular. Events in the world. Now with betting on basketball regularized, there will be more NBA games broadcast in Hong Kong. And are we worried that we will turn up people's interest in the American culture? Because sports culture is also an important facet of the American culture. Thank you, Dr. Johnny Ng. On tax revenue and amounts of bets placed illegally, I would defer to my colleagues. On the third point, I think members will understand that we don't encourage betting on local events. So based on the existing model of football gambling, we will not allow bets to be placed on local basketball matches. But we think members of the public should understand better the developments of sports locally and in the country. And I think the best way to do that is not through betting and gambling. We need to allocate more resources to promote the developments of these sports itself. So in terms of regularizing basketball betting, is not for the promotion of the sport. It is a response to the keen demand in illegal betting. Like the member said, we don't want people to get themselves into financial trouble by placing that illegally. There are many other ways to promote development of sports. So we should work together to promote healthy developments of sports in Hong Kong. Thank you, Chairman. Now, according to the Jockey Club's estimation, some 49% of people who place bets illegally will switch to the legal channel. Now, since 2003, some $501 billion of bets have been placed via legal channels. Now, every year, some 30 to 40% of the bettors would switch from illegal betting to legal betting. So we think the Jockey Club's estimation is legit. Some operators of illegal betting platforms operate illegally to evade tax. Now, according to the Jockey Club's estimation, every year, $1.5 billion bets are placed illegally every year in Hong Kong. Mr. Benson, look. Now, the major reason for trying to regularize basketball betting is because of the keen demand in illegal betting. Some $70 to $90 billion are placed in debt, are placed in basketball betting. It contributes to the prevalence of gambling and loan sharking. Now, I heard that this will lower the risk borne by society because of illegal betting. Now, I have three concerns. Besides football, basketball is the other sport where illegal betting is serious. So after football and basketball, what are the other popular sports for illegal betting? After the regulatory regime is established, which sports will we move to? Now, besides betting on sports is seasonal. Now, when there are no horse races or when there are no football matches in summertime, the illegal bettors will become more rampant. Many people would go to Macau to indulge themselves in gambling in summertime. So we need to step up education for bettors and young people, especially during summertime, to help them gamble more responsibly. I think the Jockey Club should enhance allocation of resources on three matters. First, the Jockey Club needs to step up on promotion of responsible betting. And also, there should be more support and more resources dedicated to the Pink Wall Fund. And also in terms of charitable pursuits and also sports development, the Jockey Club should also dedicate more resources after another option on betting is approved. Secretary, I will defer to the Deputy Secretary for supplements. Now, we're not trying to target various sports individually, one by one. We want to tackle the issue of illegal gambling as a whole. So we don't want to give the optics that we are targeting these sports one by one. The idea, the principle is to crack down on illegal betting. I don't think we are doing something like what the member suggested, that is targeting the sports one by one. I emphasize that we will crack down on any illegal betting stringently. So in terms of the situation of gambling, in summer, while the law enforcement agencies do not have summer break, nor does our work on educating the public, we would organize more activities for young people to participate in summertime, and also there would be more seminars to educate young people on the harm of gambling. In terms of having the jockey club dedicating more resources to the three aspects mentioned by the member, as we said, we agree with members. Mr. Nick Aoyang. Thank you, Chairman. In terms of illegal betting, we are collaborating closely with the police and the jockey club. Now, basketball is an area where the situation is worse. Besides of the high profits in the industry, it is growing at a very fast pace. In 2024, the number of Hong Kong citizens who have participated in illegal basketball betting stood at 430,000, up 180% compared with 2023. So that's why we conduct this public consultation. But like the Secretary said, we are not targeting these sports one by one. Ms. Connie Lam. Thank you, Chairman. Over the years, there has been a lot of discussion on raising tax revenue through legalizing betting. Now, in last year's budget, the Financial Secretary refused to legalize betting on basketball because it would give rise to more gambling problems. This year, the Financial Secretary's position has changed. So what is the government's bottom line on gambling? Gambling comes with a huge cost to society, especially among the young people. Now, if we are setting this precedent, the next time we have a fiscal deficit, will we legalize betting on other popular sports like badminton, squash, and even esports? We can't legalize something that is inherently bad because we need money. So where is the government's bottom line? Can you promise you will not extend the scope of legal betting? And also, the Hong Kong Jockey Club has not made a specific pledge to allocate an amount of funding to the Paying War Fund. Now, I ask whether the government can require the Jockey Club to donate half of the profits to the Paying War Fund, but the government said they cannot do that. Now, last year, there were 2,600 gamblers receiving help from the Paying War Fund, but there is 430,000 gamblers in Hong Kong. The mismatch is serious. Now, how can we address the possible surge in the number of cases calling for help, especially young people? Now, young people like basketball more than horse racing. After the betting on basketball is legalized, you would be lowering the threshold for young people to participate in gambling. Have you made reference to other places with a similar system? In terms of financial education for young people, it should be the Education Bill and even the LWB's responsibility to educate the young people. So how can we help young people to be aware of this problem? Secretary. Now, on the government's policy on gambling, as I've mentioned in my opening speech, a long-standing policy is that we do not encourage gambling. We adopt a multi-pronged approach to deal with the issue. 1, regulating the activity through legislation. 2, law enforcement on illegal gambling. 3, publicity and education on the harm of gambling. And 4, counseling services and treatment for addicts. on whether other bureaus and professionals would be involved. In terms of counseling services and treatment, these have been provided through professional social workers. On the injection into the Pink War Fund, depending on the outcome of this public consultation exercise, when we have decided to regularize or regulate betting on basketball, we will ask the Hong Kong Jockey Club to inject more resources into the Pink War Fund to provide dedicated help to young people, especially on basketball betting. So I think I have covered most of the questions. Some questions are not very clear. Thank you.
喂，霍啟剛。
Next, Mr. Kenneth Falk. Thank you, Chairman. I support the government in reviewing its policy. I think the government should confront the problem of basketball betting. According to information, there are about 100 to 150,000 people in Hong Kong who regularly take part in illegal betting. Even if we do not have a discussion about this, it doesn't mean that these people won't take part in illegal gambling. As the Secretary said, the government does not encourage gambling, but doesn't mean that this is not happening. So we have to confront the problem and learn about the views of the public. I think it is worth mentioning that Hong Kong is the only place in our country without a regulatory regime on basketball betting. Back in 2009, there was legislation by our country for people to bet on NBA games. And back in year 2000, Macau also established a regulatory regime on basketball betting. Even in Taiwan in 2008, basketball betting was made legalized. With more travel between or among different places in the Greater Bay Area, people can actually go to the mainland and Macau to bet on basketball games. So if we can legalize basketball betting, I think we will be heading to the right direction. Also, I think this is the opportune time for us to come up with a regulatory regime because there have been more investments made by the NBA. For example, it has just signed a cooperation agreement with Macau, with one of the casinos in Macau. If we can come up with a legalized channel for people to bet on basketball betting, it will be appropriate and it would match the trend. Understand that you will ask the Jockey Club to inject additional money into the Pink War Fund. I think there is quite a lot of money in the Pink War Fund. My impression is that the Pink War Fund has been quite passive. For example, an applicant could apply for funding to launch educational activities and events. Can the Pink War Fund be more active in terms of launching educational activities? Secretary. Mr. Kenneth Falk offered a very concrete suggestion on the role of Pink War Fund. Regardless of the results of this consultation exercise, we will review the role and work of the Pink War Fund. That's why when I replied to other members' questions, I said on one hand we will ask for additional resources, and on the other hand we will put in place new measures and new schemes targeting young people, especially. So we share the same views with members. That is, we will review the work of the Ping War Fund as well as the effectiveness of the fund. We will also propose new measures in view of the changes of our society. We will put in place targeted measures and schemes to address gambling-related issues. We will target the youth, especially. Mr. Michael Luke. It is healthier to simply watch the sports games instead of betting on the sports. On the proposed regulatory regime, the FTU adopts a neutral stance. This is because, according to the consultation document, it mostly covers the studies carried out by the Jockey Club. Will people find that the Jockey Club has a conflict of interest? The Jockey Club might have inflated the harms of illegal betting. According to the statistics from the Jockey Club, there is a significant increase from year 2023 to 24. There's an increase of 186% with 430,000 people in Hong Kong taking part in basketball betting. And each year, the money involved is $70 to $90 billion. And we see a year-on-year increase of 119 to 165%. The Jockey Club probably commissioned or engaged consultants to carry out the study. How credible is the result of the study? Also, according to the Jockey Club, about 49% of the bettors will switch to legal means for betting after there is the regulatory regime. There are about 30 to 40% of people betting on basketball. Then how come the Jockey Club is so confident that 49% of bettors will switch to legal means? Also, if we are going to have the regulatory regime, we'll understand that the Jockey Club will devote a lot of resources to tackle gambling addiction problems. However, should there be licensing conditions imposed on Jockey Club? For example, should there be a dedicated fund to facilitate the development of basketball? The Jockey Club has been funding youth training on football. For example, my son is in one of the youth training teams. Well, do you have to declare interest then? Well, let me declare interest then. I thank the Secretary for reminding me to do so. There's a lack of regular funding scheme for local football training or for local football associations. If there is the regulatory regime, will there be a funding scheme to facilitate basketball development in Hong Kong? Secretary. As we think about whether we should regulate basketball betting, we take into account the statistics provided by the Jockey Club. But more importantly, we have to learn about the views of the public. That's why we have this public consultation. During the consultation, we'll listen to people's views. On the statistics provided by the Jockey Club, I'll ask my colleague to supplement as to whether there should be a dedicated fund to facilitate the development of basketball, for example, to subsidize youth training. Well, if we are to regulate basketball betting, we will work with the Jockey Club on all these. Deputy Secretary, the Jockey Club engaged Oxford to carry out a study to make an estimate of how many people will switch to legal means to bet on basketball. Also, the Jockey Club took into account information provided by the police. According to the police, with the rapid development of technology as well as after COVID, a lot of things take place on the internet. The police said there have been challenges in combating illegal gambling activities. For example, it is easy for illegal gambling operators to create new websites or new web pages. Also, technology has made it easier for illegal gambling operators to conceal their identity. Of course, we take into account a study commissioned by the Jockey Club, but we also take into account other factors. Next, Dr. Ted Chi Yun. Thank you, Chairman. The government stance is clear, that is, it does not encourage gambling. Well, I share the same view. After football betting was made legal, the number of people taking part in the betting as well as the wagers involved have seen an increase. While we do not encourage gambling, if we make basketball betting legal, we will see more people gamble. Be it basketball or football betting, if we make it legal, are we indirectly encouraging people to gamble? Also, according to the Secretary, the government will adopt a multi-pronged strategy through legislation, through law enforcement, through public education and counseling and support services. The government will address gambling-related issues. Is the government confident that through these means it will be able to curb gambling? Is it necessary that we should regulate basketball betting? Is it enough just to adopt the multi-pronged strategy? Also, as I said, I'm quite worried that by coming up with a regulatory regime will encourage young people to bet on basketball. I'm especially concerned about our youth. Secretary. After football betting was made legal, well, the member said that we saw an increase in the number of bettors as well as wages. We directed bettors to legal betting. So since 2003, we directed hundreds and billions of dollars into legal football betting. Now, is legalizing basketball betting necessary? As I mentioned, we adopt a multi-pronged strategy. We enforce the law, we educate the public, and we provide support services. The police have made use of technology to combat illegal gambling activities, for example. And we do not take this strategy lightly. On law enforcement, on public education, as well as on providing support services, we've been stepping up our efforts. Now we are considering proposing a regulatory regime on basketball betting. This is because we see that there is a huge group of people engaging in illegal gambling activities in our society. If the above-mentioned multi-pronged strategy is not enough, we should think about legalizing basketball betting so that the money involved will be directed to the legal channels. Dr. Johnny Ng said the difference between legal and illegal basketball betting is that illegal betting can make someone lose all his assets and money. By legalizing basketball betting, we can restrict people from betting with credit. We are going to impose a series of restrictions if we are to launch the regulatory regime. Also, as mentioned, when we think about whether to legalize basketball betting, whether we are going to have this regulatory regime, we will help our young people. And that's why the Paintball Fund has been playing a role. Moving forward, we will review the work of the Paintball Fund. There are 4 counseling centers under the fund. We are also educating the public through the schemes implemented by different NGOs. We will also put in place targeted measures. These measures will target gambling issues involving young people. We will step up public education for young people.
好，時間仲有。
Can I elaborate, Chairman? I understand where the Secretary was coming from, but my point is, you want to channel the bets placed on illegal platforms to legal platforms through legislation, but that's not our goal. The point is we need to discourage gambling, especially young gamblers. The policy intent should be to reduce the number of gamblers. Chairman, that has been our objective. That's why we have been saying we don't encourage gambling. That's why we also mentioned strategies 2, 3, and 4. Maybe we have to shift the priority around to get the point across. We will dedicate resources to governmental departments to deliver the other 3 strategies. And in doing so, we need the help from the community to discourage gambling among young people. Reverend Peter Kuhn. Thank you, Chairman. Now, in principle, I agree that we should legalize betting on basketball, but we have been approached by National Sports Association that the Jockey Club and the government should redirect the profits gained from legalization of basketball betting to supporting more sports. Thank you. Now, depending on the outcome of the public consultation, if we decide to regulate basketball betting, we will negotiate the licensing conditions with the Jockey Club. And the Jockey Club will be required to step up support for the Paintball Fund to disseminate anti-gambling message and provide counseling and treatment services. Many members have said that the Jockey Club should dedicate more resources to support the development of basketball in Hong Kong in terms of athletes training and promotion. Now, while we are seeking to regulate betting on basketball, we also want to promote the healthy development of basketball as a sport in the community. It is now my turn. Illegal betting is an issue, and I agree with the government's stance that we do not encourage gambling. In reality, the objective fact is, after legalizing basketball betting, there will be more tax revenue. So that is not necessarily a bad thing for society. It's just a balancing exercise between the cost and the profit. We need to minimize the impacts on the public, especially younger people. Now, about the estimates given by the Jockey Club, I don't believe that the growth of the basketball gambling market was so rapid. Why was that? What was the root cause for the rapid growth of the basketball betting market? Now, also, there should be an estimate on the amount of additional tax revenue gained by legalizing basketball betting. Now, how can the Jockey Club, with more profit, dedicate more resources to the paintball fund and use it back on basketball, or maybe even other sports, and also support for cultural events? It is only reasonable for the Jockey Club to dedicate additional resources to other sports as well. We don't want the Jockey Club to use its resources to promote basketball betting. So can we extend or expand the scope of usage of the paintball fund to support sports other than basketball? Thank you, Chairman. Over the past 2 years, there has been a rising trend in gambling. I will defer to my team, and also about the question on tax revenue. On the third point, whether we should support comprehensive development of our sports industry, that is not just basketball, but other sports as well. Yes, I agree. So when the outcome of the public consultation is available, if the next step is to regularize or regulate basketball betting, we will discuss with the Hong Kong Jockey Club that with the additional revenue, how are they going to provide more support to develop sports other than basketball in terms of the operation and resource situation of the paintball fund. As promised, we will gauge the effectiveness of the 4 counseling centers under the paintball fund and also the relative subsidy schemes. We will ensure that more resources are injected to deliver effective and targeted help through paintball fund. Deputy Secretary, yes, over the past 2 years, there has been a rapid increase in the number of basketball gamblers. Now, with the advancement of technology, it is more and more easy to establish illegal gambling platforms overseas, and it is more convenient for bettors to place their bet. Now, with the technologies of blockchain and encrypted transaction becoming more mature, many bettors can hide their identity through VPN to place bets overseas. Now, mostly bets are placed via the internet, so bettors can place a bet 24 hours a day. These all contributed to the high number of basketball bettors last year. In terms of tax revenue, the details of the regulatory regime are not available yet. When they are finalized, we can have a more accurate forecast on the level of additional revenue. Now, the Jockey Club estimates that it will bring some $1.5 billion in addition revenue for them. But that is just an initial estimation. Any more members who would like to ask questions? If not, I conclude the item. Next item, any other business, AOP? There being none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.